Hi everybody, we can start our class now. The second chapter from history, the world in the 20th century. Okay, it's a very important chapter. Listen carefully. For a long time, Africa was known as dark continent. Do you know what is the reason? Africa was unknown to outer world. That is why Africa was known as dark continent. After a long time, a new route is discovered to Africa through River Nile. Then many foreigners, especially Europeans, capitalist countries, penetrated to Africa for exploiting the resources. Okay, many capitalist countries, I told you capitalist countries. So what is known as capitalism? Capitalism is an economic system in which the production and distribution is fully owned and controlled by the capitalist. Their main aim is to make a maximum profit. So capitalism is an economic system in which the production and distribution, these are the two processes in an economy, produce the items and distribution of that items. So production and distribution is fully owned and controlled by private entrepreneurs or capitalists is known as capitalism. Their main aim is to make maximum profit. So capitalism is an economic system aroused in England. This economic system was started in England after Industrial Revolution. You know what is meant by Industrial Revolution? Great growth in the field of industry by using modern technology, modern machines is known as Industrial Revolution. By using this modern technology, the English people produced surplus products, so they could not sell these surplus products in their own countries, in their own market. Because products are surplus more than what they needed. Okay, what they could do? They exported this surplus product to outside of their country, outside of their boundary, and sell the product. Okay. This system was started in England. Later, many European countries invented such type of machines, and they also started Industrial Revolution. Okay, say they want to sell their product outside of their country. They could not sell their product in their home market because products are surplus. So by using political power and military force, military power, European countries captured Africa, Asia and Latin America to sell their products. Later, these places are become the colonies of capitalist countries. This process is known as colonization. So what is meant by colonization? By using political power and military power, European countries captured Asia, Latin America and Africa. Later these places became their colonies. These places became their colonies. This process is known as colonization. Okay. Let's continue. I told you, European countries produce surplus products. They could not sell that surplus product in the home market. They want to sell these products outside of their countries. So they captured many places. They economically and politically exploited their colonies. Their main aim is to make the maximum profit. They exploited the laborers also. Okay, they exploit the laborers also, workers also. The condition of workers is very pathetic. They got only low wages, but they work for long hours, 16 hours a day, but they got meager wages. To protest against this, workers are formed labor unions, trade unions. They collectively bargained with the capitalist to reduce working hours and increase their wages. Left with no option, the capitalist is compelled to grant their demands. Okay, they compelled to increase the wages of workers and decrease the working hours. So their production cost increased. Their profit is diminished. This led capitalism to a crisis. Because now they want to pay more, their profit is decreased. Okay, this led capitalism to a crisis. മുതലാളിമാർ ഇത് ബുദ്ധിമുട്ടിലാക്കി. കാരണം വർക്കേഴ്സിന് കൂടുതൽ കൂലി കൊടുക്കണം, വർക്കിംഗ് അവേഴ്സ് റെഡ്യൂസ് ചെയ്യണം, അപ്പം ലാഭം കുറഞ്ഞു. ഓക്കെ, ഇതിനവർ കണ്ട പരിഹാരം എന്താ? Now they produce their products in their own countries and export that product to other countries. Okay, ഇപ്പം അത് ചെയ്യുന്നതാണ്. അവരുടെ രാജ്യത്തിൻ്റെ ഉൽപ്പാദിക്കുന്ന ഉൽപ്പന്നങ്ങൾ മറ്റു രാജ്യങ്ങളിൽ കൊണ്ടുപോയി വിൽക്കുക. അവർ ആലോചിച്ചു, then why should not production itself, why should not the production itself shifted from their countries to the colonies? The factories itself shifted from their own countries to the colonies. Now, they decided to produce the products in the colonies. What are the factors helped them to think so? Why they tried to invest their money in the colonies? Because of three reasons. The first one, availability of cheap labor. The availability of cheap labor in the colonies. Okay. Second point, availability of raw materials for the industries. So colonies are the treasure house of raw materials. And third point, production cost is very low in the colonies. There is no need to export the products, because by using the cheap labors of the colonies, by using the raw materials of the colonies, they produce the products in the colonies and they can sell the products also in the colonies. Colonies labors use ചെയ്തുകൊണ്ട്, കോളനീസിലെ റോ മെറ്റീരിയൽസ് യൂസ് ചെയ്ത് കോളനിയിൽ നിന്ന് പ്രൊഡ്യൂസ് ചെയ്ത് കോളനിയിൽ തന്നെ വിൽക്കുക. So now profit is increased. This stage of capitalism is known as imperialism. This stage of capitalism is known as imperialism. So what is known as imperialism? In lieu, instead of products, now the capitalist invest the money in the colonies. Instead of product, Now they started to invest their money in the colonies. Okay, the distinctive flow of finance capital to the colonies is known as imperialism. Okay, next we can discuss what are the features of imperialism. What are the fundamental features of imperialism? Imposing one nation's political, economical, and cultural dominance on other countries are the fundamental features of imperialism. One nation imposing their political, economic, and cultural domination on other countries are the fundamental features of imperialism. Let us continue. Next we want to discuss the impact of imperialism on the colonies. How did the imperialism affect the colonies? We can see some points in our textbook. The first one, traditional economic system is totally destroyed. Traditional economic system followed by the countries is totally destroyed. Okay, traditional administration, judiciary also replaced. Okay, the people compelled to cultivate cash crops instead of food crops. Okay, and traditional education system is totally destroyed and replaced. Indigenous art, culture, language, and everything is destroyed. Okay, this is the impact of imperialism on the colonies. Next we want to discuss another important essay from this chapter, the First World War. Okay, the world witnessed a terrible and horrible war that begins the year 1914 and ends after the long 4 years, 1918. Okay, the First World War. What are the reasons of the World War? The first reason is the competition for the colonies. Competition for the colonies. We have already discussed. Industrial Revolution started in England. They produced surplus products. They could not sell that surplus product in their home market. So they want to sell this product outside of their country. Okay. For this purpose, they tried to capture other nations to make them as their colonies. Later, other countries also developed such kind of machines. They also produced surplus products. They also needed colonies. Okay, this aroused enmity between these nations because all of them needed colonies. So they tried to capture other countries as their colonies. This led to war between the nations. So the first reason is competition for the colonies. Second point, the formation of alliances. Okay, when enmity is aroused among the nations, each nation distrusts other nations. Okay, always suspicion in their minds. They didn't believe other nations. So they tried to form the alliance with other countries to fight against their enemies. Two most important alliances was the first one, Triple Alliance. Whoever belongs to Triple Alliance? Germany, Italy, and Austria-Hungary. These three countries belongs to Triple Alliance. On the other hand, another alliance also formed that was known as Triple Entente. This alliance was led by Russia, England, and France. Okay, the formation of alliance caused an atmosphere of war. So each nation spent a lion's share of their national income for purchasing deadly weapons. They are prepared for the war. So formation of alliance also one of the reasons for the outbreak of First World War. And third reason, aggressive nationalism. What is meant by aggressive nationalism? Right or wrong, my country is right. This is aggressive nationalism. Right or wrong, my country is right. Each nation considers they are supreme. Okay, they are superior. They are supreme. And people supported whatever the actions of the nations. They blindly supported the actions of their governments. Because each nation considers they are supreme. They have a superiority complex. They consider others are inferior. Okay, this is aggressive nationalism. Right or wrong, my country is right. ശരിയായാലും തെറ്റായാലും എൻ്റെ രാജ്യം എന്ത് ചെയ്താലും ശരി. Okay, this is narrow-minded nationalism. Okay, aggressive nationalism caused the formation of some movements in the world. That is, Pan-Slav movement, Pan-German movement, a revenge movement. Pan-Slav movement was supported by Russia. The main aim of this movement is to unite Slavic people into one. Slavs was one of the race in the world. Russia tried to unite them all. That is the main aim of Pan-Slav movement. Pan-German movement is another movement that was organized by Germany to unite Teutonic people into one. And third movement, a revenge movement. A revenge movement is supported by France. Okay, the main aim of this movement was to recapture their lost territory Alsace-Lorraine from the clutches of Germany. That was the reason. Germany, ഫ്രാൻസിൻ്റെ കയ്യിൽ നിന്ന് കൊണ്ടുപോയ Alsace-Lorraine എന്ന് പറയുന്ന സ്ഥലം തിരിച്ചു പിടിക്കാൻ വേണ്ടി ഫ്രാൻസ് സ്റ്റാർട്ട് ചെയ്ത മൂവ്മെന്റ് ആണ് റിവെഞ്ച് മൂവ്മെന്റ്. Okay, and another reason for the World War is Moroccan crisis. Moroccan crisis. In 1904, Britain and France made a secret treaty between them. According to this treaty, Britain agreed the supremacy of France over Morocco. Britain should agree the supremacy of France over Morocco. Okay, when France tried to capture Morocco, Germany also claimed Morocco. This aroused a crisis between these two. Okay, when this crisis becomes severe, France ready to hand over a colony owned by France named French Congo. A portion of French Congo is ready to hand over to Germany. France ready to hand over a part of French Congo is the colony owned by France to Germany. Thus, Moroccan crisis is solved time being. തൽക്കാലത്തേക്ക് പ്രശ്നം പരിഹരിച്ചു. But enmity is there still in their mind. There is a Moroccan crisis. In 1904, Britain and France made a secret treaty. According to this, Britain should agree the supremacy of France over Morocco. In this situation, Germany also claimed Morocco. That is the reason of Moroccan crisis. Okay, but after France was ready to hand over a colony owned by her, that is French Congo, to Germany. Okay, next reason for the First World War was Balkan Crisis. Okay, what is known as Balkan Crisis? Balkan regions have already occupied by Ottoman Turks. Balkan regions lost their territories. That was captured by Ottoman Turks. To recapture these Balkan regions from the clutches of Ottoman Empire, Balkan regions formed Balkan League. The countries belongs to this Balkan League were Greece, Serbia, Bulgaria, and Montenegro. These countries formed an alliance that was known as Balkan League. They successfully recaptured their lost territories from Ottoman Turks. But what happened after the war? There aroused conflict among the Balkan regions in sharing the properties they gained in this war. യുദ്ധത്തിന് കിട്ടിയ വസ്തുക്കൾ പ്രോപ്പർട്ടീസ് ഷെയർ ചെയ്യുന്നതിന്റെ പേരിൽ അവർ തമ്മിൽ ഫൈറ്റായി. That was also one of the reasons for the outbreak of First World. And last reason, the immediate cause. What was the immediate cause? A political murder. Okay. Austrian Archduke and heir Francis Ferdinand and his wife Sophia were traveling through Sarajevo, is the Bosnian capital. They are traveling through the street in an open vehicle at Sarajevo, is the Bosnian capital. Both of them shot dead, assassinated by Gavrilo Princip, is a Serbian nationalist. Okay, ഓസ്ട്രിയൻ ആർച്ച്ഡ്യൂക്കും അടുത്ത ഭരണാധികാരിയുമായ ഫ്രാൻസിസ് ഫെർഡിനാൻഡും അദ്ദേഹത്തിന്റെ ഭാര്യ സോഫിയയും കൂടി ബോസ്നിയൻ ക്യാപിറ്റലായ സരാജുവോയിൽ കൂടി ഒരു ഓപ്പൺ വെഹിക്കിളിൽ ഇങ്ങനെ ട്രാവൽ ചെയ്യാണ്. ആ സമയത്ത് ഗവേറിലോ പ്രിൻസപ്പ് എന്ന് പറയുന്ന സെർബിയക്കാരൻ രണ്ടുപേരെയും വെടിവെച്ചു കൊന്നു. കൊല്ലപ്പെട്ടത് ഓസ്ട്രിയക്കാരൻ, കൊന്നത് സെർബിയക്കാരൻ. ഓക്കെ, ഓസ്ട്രിയയും സെർബിയയും തമ്മിൽ നേരത്തെ എനിമീസാണ്. ഈ എനിമിറ്റി മനസ്സിൽ വെച്ചുകൊണ്ട് ഓസ്ട്രിയ said that Serbia had a role behind this incident. We want to get an explanation within 24 hours. Okay, but Serbia ignored the ultimatum. Serbia ignored the warning. Okay, so Austria declared war on Serbia. Austria declared war on Serbia. Okay, this is the beginning of First World War. Suddenly Russia rushed the spot to give help to Serbia. Suddenly Germany rushed the spot for giving assistance to Austria. Okay, and suddenly Britain also reached the scene to help Russia because Russia was her ally. This turns into this political murder. This incident turns into the spread of the war. So these are the reasons of the First World. First one, competition for the colonies between the nations. Second point, the formation of alliances. Third point, aggressive nationalism. Fourth point, Moroccan Crisis. Fifth point, Balkan Crisis. And last point, the Emirate Course. Okay. Next we want to discuss what are the results of First World War. Okay, what are the results of First World War? More than 10 million people lost their lives or injured. 10 million people lost their lives and also injured. World economy is shattered because most of the nations spend their money for the preparation of war and purchasing the weapons. Okay. Third one, unemployment and poverty is increased everywhere. Okay, for the first time in the world, the war is conducted through sea, the air and the land. Okay, so factories are destroyed because of bombing. Agriculture fields are destroyed. So poverty and unemployment is increased. Communication system is totally destroyed. Telecommunication system is totally destroyed. Okay. And a peace organization was formed. Okay, a peace organization that is known as League of Nations. After the war, to avoid another world war, a peace organization was formed that was named the League of Nations. Okay, liberation movements of Asia and Africa were strengthened. ഏഷ്യയിലെയും ആഫ്രിക്കയിലെയും ഫ്രീഡം മൂവ്മെന്റ്സ് സ്ട്രോങ് ആയി മാറിയത് ഈ വേൾഡ് വാറിന് ശേഷമാണ്. These are the main results of First World War. Next we want to discuss another important short question. The Treaty of Versailles. What is meant by the Treaty of Versailles? Many treaties signed after the First World War. Many treaties signed after the First World War. The most important among the treaty was the Treaty of Versailles that was signed in the year 1919. Okay, this treaty was signed by Germany with the compulsion of victors. Germany compelled to sign in this treaty because she lost the war. All the terms and conditions of this treaty was totally against the interest of Germany. All the terms and conditions and provisions of this treaty was totally against the interest of Germany. Okay, the victors revengefully imposed this treaty on Germany. What are the main conditions of this treaty? All the war guilty was imposed on the shoulders of Germany. ഇതിന് മുഴുവൻ കുറ്റവും ജർമ്മനിയുടെ തലയിൽ വെച്ചു. Germany should compensate a huge war indemnity, $6.6 million to the victims of the war. Germany should compensate $6.6 million to the victors and victims. Okay, Germany is totally disarmed. Germany never purchased new weapons. Totally disarmed. Okay, all the colonies owned by Germany should return back to real owners and victors. Okay, these are the main provisions of this treaty. All the conditions and terms are totally against the interest of Germany. Germany lost all of their colonies. She wanted to compensate a huge war indemnity. Okay, Germany is totally disarmed. Weapons ഒന്നും വാങ്ങാൻ പാടില്ല. This is the one of the most important treaties signed after the First World War. That is the Treaty of Versailles. Okay, thank you.